Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell in the upper right-hand corner. Follow me on all forms of social media. Check me out at thatdrummerguy.com and enjoy the following presentation. Hi, this is Josh Runquist. How's it going?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for taking time to do this interview.
You're with the drummer guy?
Yes.
All right. You must have the wrong number. I'm the guitar player. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's quite all right. I mean, we got to talk last year about the brand new Cavalera Conspiracy album, and I remember in that interview you hinted at the fact the new SOulfly album was being worked on, and it's so great to see that come to fruition with this brand new album, Ritual, which is coming out October 19th through Nuclear Blast. I've gotten the chance to be able to check this album out over the past week, and I just love what's going on with this. I mean, SOulfly was the very first band that I discovered from you with Prophecy, and it's great to see how the band has changed even from that point, let alone the first album. And it's just so great to see the intensity, the tribal influence, the groove, the thrash, everything that's going on with this album. It's so great to hear that.
Yeah, I think Ritual is a very complete album that I wanted to make for a long time. You know, like I always wanted to bring all the influence. We play live, and a lot of times we do a lot of the tribal songs live, and then we do the trashy songs, and we do stuff like Prophecy Dark Age, which is some of my favorite records. But we decided to put all in one, make one record with all these elements. So it has a little bit of I think the first two songs, they kind of like they pretty much are the bulk of the album are concentrated on the first two songs. When you listen to Ritual and Dead Behind the Eyes back to back, Ritual is the groove song, the power groove tribal with the Navajo chant, and then you have Dead Behind the Eyes, which is pure extreme metal, the death metal, thrash metal, crazy vocals, fast drumming, fast guitars, chugging riffs. That's you know what kind of record you're in for. And then of course after that there's a lot of cool stuff like The Summoning and Under Rapture with Ross, and Blood on the Street, the Navajo song, and By the Bullet, which to me is kind of like almost like a second incarnation of Eye for an Eye, and Feedback there with a Motorhead kind of tribute. Feels like a complete SOulfly record to me, man. It's cool, and I'm digging that the people are loving, especially Ritual that's now out now. The song Ritual and Evil and Power are out, and people can hear. And I'm feeling that people are really liking the direction of this record. And I was very happy with recording with Josh. It was great, and I think that this is it's going to be a classic SOulfly album for the ages.
Yeah, I definitely gotta agree, and even though I've just had it a little around a week, I mean, it's easily becoming one of my favorite SOulfly albums to date so far. It captures so much of what I've always loved about the band, but exploring new territories as well. And, just seeing the singles that have been released before I got to check out the full album with Ritual and with Evil Empowered, I mean, it was so great to be able to see two very different songs being able to represent this album, and then hearing everything in context, hearing the whole ebb and flow of the album, the intensity, the more melodic parts, the more groove parts that are going on. I mean, it just feels so perfectly well balanced together.
Well, that was the idea of the whole record. It was actually to do. I was like joking with people before because they call it tribal thrash, and I think because of what we were doing, because it had all the groove tribal elements of the early SOulfly combined with thrash metal, death metal that I love, and I think some people that has heard Ritual has said something like it's like Rata Mahata mixed with Prophecy, and I love all the scenes that people say. Those comparisons are great. I think it's cool, man. It's cool to hear that. I'm drawing influence from my own catalog, from my own stuff, and also from other stuff. There's some songs that I think Blood on the Street was heavily influenced by Scour and the Fuse Project Scour that I love, and some Dark Funeral, and some Gojira, and then there's some stuff like Under Rapture, which kind of to me sounds a bit like Massacre, like Old Death, Old Massacre, and Immolation, which especially with Ross singing and the blast beats that Zyon are doing. And then to me, there's some songs that feel like just classic black stuff, almost like Chaos AD era, a little bit of nail bomb, because we put some machinery sounds on the whole record, especially on the summoning and Dead Behind the Eyes. And to me, Dead Behind the Eyes, there's a cool story behind, because I was working with Zyon, my son, and we were jamming, and we were driving every day to the jam pad that we have to practice the album. And on the drive, we'll play many different things. I would show him a lot of bands. I would show him Gojira, and I would show him Dying Fetus. And one day, he put something on for me to check it out, and it was Schizophrenia. And I was like, oh, so you like this shit, huh? You know? And he's like, hell yeah, Pops, this is great, this is cool. How you write a song like, he was talking about From the Past Comes the Storm. How do you write a song like that? And then we went on to listen to Beneath the Remains, and the same question again, how do you write a song like Beneath the Remains? And I explained to you, it's not easy. It takes a lot of time to put all those riffs together, all those parts, all those tempo changes, but it's worth it if you do it right. And so I threw a challenge at him. He's like, do you want to do one of those? We can do it together. I'll build it with you. So we started working, and that became Dead Behind the Eyes. That has Randy from Lamb of God now. And it's going to be a classic Soulfly song, another one for the ages, you know. Dead Behind the Eyes, I hope we can do a video for it. I would love to do a Hellraiser kind of video with all of us dressed up like Hellraiser characters, and hopefully Randy can be on it too and stuff. It would be fucking awesome, you know. So yeah, it was just a fun record to make with all this kind of trip, and having people like Josh involved also. He came as a fan, you know, like he's a big producer. He won Grammys with Megadeth and Lamb of God and all these, you know, Trivium, and he came in like this big producer, but first thing he said, I'm a fan. I want to make the Soulfly record I want to hear, you know. So he was pushing for all these groove songs and the groove vibes, and we went there. We went, and that's how songs like Ritual was born. It was like out of that kind of like, you know, let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can go back to that time and recreate that magic. And I think we capture a lot of that.
Oh, absolutely. And again, that's why I love the album so much. I mean, whether it's writing a song about the Cenobite, like in Dead Behind the Eyes, whether, you know, it's like it's going from like a groove song to some of the most evil riffs that I've heard in something like Under Rapture, or even continuing the Soulfly saga, you know, with an amazing closing track, being able to hear something like that. I mean, there's something for every kind of Soulfly fan out there. And it's so great to see that you are able to continue that, whether it's with your immediate family, the ones that you consider family from the band standpoint, or bringing in someone like Josh, being able to just bring out the intensity and the groove of what Soulfly is from the production side.
Yeah, work with Josh was great. I mean, I think we have a really solid band right now. We just did a 9-week tour of Europe, and some of the best shows I ever done. Some of them are on the YouTube, and people can see it. And it was a fantastic tour. We had a great time, and we have a really cool band with Rizzo now that's been with me since '04. And this was Mike's first record with us on bass, which he did great. And Zion's third record with me. This is my favorite record as Zion being part of it. His drumming is fucking amazing on it, and live he's just playing better and better every day. Just gets better and better. In fact, after the shows, a lot of time in Europe, we do meet and greets, and most of the fans in the meet and greets, that's all they talk about. It was Zion with the drumming, you know. They didn't even care about the show. They just mentioned Zion with it and the drumming, how they thought the drumming was great. So Zion's becoming a big draw in the Soulfly world, the Soulfly tribe world. And yeah, I think it's cool, man. You know, we have a solid band, and hopefully we'll stay like that for a while. And definitely working with Josh was the right idea, because I just came from a really not stressing but very draining record, which was Psychosis. Like, it really drained me a lot to make Psychosis. I was doing it with Igor, and I think it came off fantastic. I really loved the thrash element, the death metal thrash element on Psychosis was pretty killer. But I still had a little bit of gas left in the tank, so that I went into Ritual and made Ritual after that. So now I think I need a little break. I'm pretty drained right now. I'm pretty much the tank is on empty right now. I need a little recharge before I start working on anything new again.
Oh, I can absolutely imagine so. I mean, with the intensity in both sides, I mean, being able to go from Cavalera Conspiracy to SOulfly to being able to tour Europe as much as you have, being able to play as much as you have with that intensity between everything that you do. Yeah, I mean, you've definitely earned a little bit of break before you start working on some new creative ideas.
And it's cool. I mean, everything with the right time. I think we're playing a really cool worldwide tour for Ritual. I like to do some kind of stage props, some really organic, like statues and really cool ritualistic kind of things that we can do ourselves and look really cool, and do a real world tour that goes everywhere. Hopefully, we do start in America, hopefully in January. We do all the U.S. and then do Europe and Australia, South America, Japan. I love these world tours. We used to do them back in the Sepultura days. The Arise World Tour was huge. It was like, I think it was like 14 months of touring. And it was huge and massive, going everywhere. Indonesia, Russia. Right now I'm going with Igor to Russia to play Beneath the Remains and Arise, a hybrid of those two records. We're going to probably play a couple of the Cavalera songs also from Psychosis. And then we go to South America and Mexico in November. And that's what we have planned until next year. But yeah, it's cool. It's kind of like, seems like a lot, but it's at the right time and the right way. I think we kind of go back and forth. We do something like Arise Beneath the Remains hybrid, and then go back to Ritual, and then do Ritual, and then hopefully I do a little bit of touring with Cavalera for Psychosis, because it came out a year ago, and we have not even tour for that album yet, so hopefully we can do a little bit of touring for that next year also.
And it's so great to see, like, that drive that you got going on right now. I mean, whether it's celebrating two amazing albums like Beneath the Remains and Arise, and going into brand new material. I mean, if you get to tour behind Psychosis, I mean, that would be phenomenal to be able to hear a tour behind that. And, of course, with all the SOulfly stuff that's going on now, being able to do the upcoming touring with Ritual and everything. I mean, it's obviously a lot of work, and, it's a lot of time and energy to be able to do that, but that's also going to be a great, rewarding feeling to be able to celebrate so much of the work that you've done.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it would have been even cool to do, in the same night, do Cavalera, Psychosis, and do a Ritual tour in the same night, do both. I mean, I think it would be very demanding and very heavy on my part, but I still think we can do it, and it'll be really cool for the fans. Or maybe we do it in separate times. I don't know. Like, we haven't really haven't done the details of the next touring yet. We're still working on that right now. But I'm up for it, man, all of it. I love metal. I love playing. I think, to me, that is what success is playing in front of the people that love what you have to play. And that is either 100 people or 100,000 people. It doesn't matter. If you play in front of 100 people and all the 100 people there are connected to you through the music, that's success. That's the definition of success to me, So I'm really enjoying the ride as much as I can. I got this energy right now, like a second wind, like a rush of adrenaline, and we're gonna go for it, and hopefully we get to keep it up as long as we can, because I love playing live, and metal is my life,
And with that, I think that's an amazing note to end on, and some great positive words to be able to end on. Thank you so very much for taking this time to be able to talk to me about everything that's going on in the world of Max Cavalera right now. And of course, most specifically talking about the brand new album, Ritual from SOulfly, which is coming out next month through Nuclear Blast. I absolutely love this album, and I love the fact that you're being able to celebrate so many different eras of what you've done in metal. And it's so great to be able to catch up with you again and see everything that you got going on.
Thanks a lot, man. Nice talking to you, brother.
You as well. And once again, thank you so very much for taking time to be able to do this. It's always a great honor to be able to talk to you, and I can't wait to see you live next.
All right, man. Take care.